Hello, my name is Jim DeMeo and this is A Course in Miracles. I'm reading today from Lesson 71. Today is the 71st day of the year. God's plan for salvation will work. You may not realize that the ego has set up a plan for salvation in opposition to God's. To become a body, to become form, to leave the realm of universal form, to live in this world. Since it is this plan in which you believe, since it is the opposite of God's, you also believe that to accept God's plan in place of the ego is to be damned. I look at it as the ego tells me I'm going to lose everything. So it appeals to my attachments, my children, my grandchildren, my wife, the property, the things. This sounds preposterous, of course. Yet after we have considered just what the ego's plan is, perhaps you will realize that, however preposterous it may be, you do believe in it. Kind of confronting us today with our humanness, isn't he? Our human condition is coming up for consideration here. The ego's plan for salvation centers around holding grievances. It maintains that if someone else spoke or acted differently, if some external circumstance or event were changed, you would be saved. Thus, the source of salvation is constantly perceived as outside yourself. Each grievance you hold is a declaration and assertion in which you believe that says, if this were different, I would be saved. This is an example of this is lamenting about the world or our government or our society, or frankly, anything else that happens in this physical plane. The change of mind necessary for salvation is thus demanded of everyone and everything except yourself. How inconvenient. The role assigned to your own mind in this plan, then, is simply to determine what, other than itself, must change if you are to be saved. According to this insane plan, any perceived source of salvation is acceptable, provided that it will not work. Oh, what craziness, huh? What craziness the ego has. It only makes sense to change our mind and follow God's plan, doesn't it? We try. This ensures that the fruitless search will continue for the illusion that persists, although this hope has always failed. There's still grounds for hope in other places and in other things. We can spend our whole lives searching for that rather than turning to ourselves. Another person will yet serve better. Another situation will yet offer success. I was thinking this morning about how prone we are to cults and to cult leaders. How we idolize people. This surely is an example of what he's talking about. Such is the ego's plan for your salvation. Surely you can see how it is in strict accord with the ego's basic doctrine, seek but do not find. Look, seek, do not find moves us toward the ego's real agenda, which is to protect us by terminating our life. Seek but do not find offers enough frustration that we may still be led by it to our ending of the physical realm, death, as we call it. Seek but not find is really a very crafty agenda. For what could more surely guarantee that you will not find salvation than to channelize all your efforts in searching for where it is not? Not find out salvation is the ego protecting again the human identity, the little I, fearful that the large I, the large we, will consume the I, unaware that our unique aspect of the one is unperishable, unchangeable. We lose nothing, we gain everything. The ego is quite unaware of that and doesn't believe it. You can just ask people, I don't believe that. People get very afraid if you try and bring it clearly. That's why you want to live it. That's the way to teach it. God's plan for salvation works simply because by following His direction you seek for salvation where it is, within you. But if you are to succeed as God promises you will, you must be willing to seek there only. Otherwise your purpose is divided, and you will attempt to follow two plans for salvation that are diametrically opposed in all ways, holding certain grievances. The result can only bring confusion, misery, a deep sense of failure and despair. You cry out and say, what does He want, for crying out loud? He wants inclusiveness. He wants for us not to exclude any longer anyone. There you go. How can you escape all this? Very simply. The idea for today is the answer. Only God's plan for salvation will work. You're part of that plan. Yes, there are things that you do and not do that are integral to God's plan for us to awaken. That's God's plan, for us to awaken. There can be no conflict about this because there is no possible alternative to God's plan that will save you. His is the only plan that is certain in its outcome. His is the only plan that must succeed. We've been given a purpose in this insanity of body. Let us practice recognizing this certainty today, and let us rejoice that there is an answer to what seems to be a conflict with no resolution possible. All things are possible to God. Salvation must be yours because His plan cannot fail. And if you would take a moment and think, what is it that you would have me do today? The answer comes flying into your head because it's been waiting for you to acknowledge it. But if you continue to just react and move through your day reacting to things and places and stuff, then you're putting off your part of the plan. And yes, you have an integral part of the plan.